All right, looks like we're back and we're live for another Wednesday live stream. Last week we Brian and I just called an audible and decided to skip just because we had so much going on with our presentation and whatnot. And the little class that we did about integrating AI into your workflow as a business owner. So this week, because both of us behind the scenes, we've been trying to figure out the best way to deliver the tool that we created. And we wanted to kind of here's the thing, there's utility in us showing you how this stuff works, right? And for me, I like the workflow of let's build it live. Let's build it live. Let's build the thing live. And so that's what we're doing. Today, we're going to build it live. Ooh, we have people in the chat already? Or is that us? Good morning. How's it going? Good morning, Joshua. Thanks for jumping on. So
Morning.
We are building out this. We're building this out as we speak. You're going to get a chance to see how two marketers put together a sales funnel. First of all, and we have to kind of define what a sales funnel is, because this is marketing jargon, right? And we don't want to get too heavy into that. But I think sales funnel is one of those basic terms that we need to know. So, Bryan, how would you define what a sales funnel is?
It's kind of a loaded question. And
Yeah.
a sales funnel is essentially the steps or the map or the roadmap to from the entry point of the customer to them paying you and then coming back around. That's how the funnel works. So you start at the top with your traffic, and then you break it down. You try to get somebody to convert to something, and then you try to provide them with something, with a transaction, a monetary transaction of some sort of equal value. And you just keep rinse and repeat. And the idea is you start with for example, 100 people, and you convert, 25 of them. That's the idea of a funnel. And the most simplest way, you just keep repeating and grow. And it's a good cycle.
Yeah, and the way I've always kind of viewed it, because it can be confusing if you don't always think in a straight line. For me, it's more like it's the journey that somebody takes from being interested in your product to actually being your customer to being a repeat customer, and that's the sales funnel. That's how we do it. And the idea is you want to get a lot of people that are interested and then narrow it down to people that are actually buyers of what you're selling. And so that's the entire funnel process. First time I heard sales funnel. I've heard other words for it, other, terminology, client journey, and all kinds of other stuff. But hearing sales funnel, that was Russell Brunson when he created ClickFunnels. And that was kind of that was the entire premise behind funnel. And he has an entire book and framework and its own words and own verbiage and squeeze page, all these other words that you throw in there. But more or less, it's just what your journey is. And so our goal is we want to do a flat funnel, because we're realizing that for us, the flat funnels work better. I think people are kind of getting turned off of the more elaborate multi-step kind of thing. So you're going to see what we're talking about here momentarily.
Yeah. And I think we can what we're going to do here now is kind of just go over what, a simple online funnel looks like, and the basic steps. So everybody kind of gets an idea of where it's at. And then we'll kind of talk about how ours is. Well, let's just get into it, and it'll make more sense. So I'll share the window here. I guess I'll start at the top here if you want me to.
Go for it.
So we have these, this is kind of the overview. So you have the 4 steps here. You have attract, engage, convert, and delight, and then repeat and grow. For us, we are trying to do live streams, and we also do in-person workshops. That's our attraction model, right? We put out content on social. We don't do many ads at this point for this specific product or campaign, but we do social content, and then we do live in-person workshops, and that's where we start, right? That's the traffic that we get.
Right.
Now, what we offer is to get leads is we are offering and we're engaging with the Foundry. The Foundry is free to join, right? We have our weekly live streams. We have questions that are constantly answered in the community back and forth. It's the new way of consulting, as Bryan likes to say. And I believe that as well. So that's where we're doing our engagement. Now we have paid products like the custom agent that we built for you guys to get in there. And that's where we're trying to convert and make the sale on that, right? And that's, covers costs for hosting and all that good stuff. Now, the idea here is that people stay in the community. we provide support and community and answer questions and whatnot. And that's our step 4, where we have the delight, right?
Mhm.
And that's where we engage with people in the Foundry and stuff like that. And then we repeat and grow, right? We
Right.
add the products that people are looking for specifically. If they're bigger products and take more more time to get done and create, then those become uh paid products sometimes. And sometimes they don't. We have a backlog of I think like 8 to 12 uh, training products that are unpaid, right?
Right.
That we're getting ready to launch in the Foundry community. So that's my overview here. So I'll let Brian take it from there. If you want, do you want me to go? You want to say anything about this page, or you want to go right back into or into a
Yeah,
tract?
we can go into a track, but I want to mention what we're doing right now is we're top of funnel. Like we're trying to attract people's attention. So the idea that like you'll see this live stream on the YouTube pages attached to Brian and myself and the Facebook pages. We're trying to get this message out to as many people as possible. We're trying to attract people's attention to what we're doing. And so we call this top of funnel. Top of funnel, that's where a lot of the messaging side comes in. That's where you're going to see a
Hmm.
lot of your different types of content marketing. I've been stressing the last couple of weeks that there are multiple ways to do content marketing. Video is the one that's getting the most attention right now, and people are spending the most time on it. But there are people that are using new are crushing it with newsletters. There are people that are crushing it with audio notes. There are people that are crushing it with audio podcasts. There are people that are crushing it just using like infographics and pictures and slideshows. I've seen somebody absolutely kill it with a slideshow that they presented on a video and never showed their face. And so there are so many different ways to do the content, but the goal is you need to be engaging and answer the questions that they're coming in with, right? Like I said, if you're a writer, do blog posts, how-to guides, videos, infographics, give information. I think oftentimes in business, we want to always keep the secret recipe to ourselves. And you're going to find that specifically, depending on what you're doing, the more information that people get from you that's valuable, the more likely they are to engage with you. Uh,
I would argue also that like it says SEO on here, and that's kind of broad with
yeah,
keyword, research and all that stuff, and technical SEO, like it says. But like, there's also like your Google Business Profile. That's SEO as well, and that is a top of funnel traffic source, right? So
right.
some of you out there, I know, rely on Google Business Pro. You're a service based business, a local business, and some of you rely on that, and that is a top of funnel attraction. You
Mhm.
know, just wanted to throw that out there.
And I want and to kind of piggyback off that, paying for ads is top of funnel, guys. Like, and
Mhm.
that's, I think a lot of times since we're putting a money commitment to it, we think it's lower down the funnel, but this is still really surface level kind of stuff. And yes, you can get people that are top of funnel that are ready to buy in that moment, but more times than not, it leads a little bit more warming up and stuff like that.
Mhm.
SEO, as I explain it to people in real life, SEO can take a great website and make it excellent if from a traffic perspective, but it will not take a bad website and make it good. And
No.
so it's more like the icing on the cake. The icing helps make the cake taste better. All right.
Mhm.
Email outreach. When Brian talked about it, this is something we're going to be drilling down deep into. I think our next tool is oriented around email as
It
much as
is.
possible because email is like that. That's like a hidden lever. That's a hidden piggy bank. You build an email list. You're doing pretty well. I mean, to be honest with you, school is almost like an aggregated email list that you can actually serve content to all the time. And then we talked about paid advertising, but top of funnel is your most surface level work. Okay. Um, and while, like I said, you can get people that are ready to buy more times than not, it's going to take a little bit more. It's going to take a little bit more engaging.
And then you talked about paid, so
Yep.
we'll kind of cruise through this a little bit.
All
Let's
right.
get to engage.
Okay.
Here, get this so we can see it. So the goal of Engage is to turn those people that you've brought, turn them from strangers and cold leads or whatever to interested in your product, right? So like Brian said, you're warming them up. That's what the funnel's for. It's to funnel out the people that you don't want and to
Mhm.
funnel down the people you do want, right? So the way you engage your audience is you're giving them, checklists, ebooks. For our example, like I said, it's the Foundry. The Foundry, we decided to change our funnel to make the Foundry free,
Mhm.
and then we'll monetize it through advanced tools and products. And that's how we're doing that. So our lead magnet is the Foundry, right? But you can do things like ebooks and guides, you know, uh, graphic templates, checklists, and then just free resources, like it says.
Right.
These are the things. Think about what I can do. I can take it down to its simplest form, which is like you're going through a craft fair. You stop by the bread booth, and they give you a free sample. That's an engagement. You want to
Right.
try this apple cinnamon bread? Oh man, that's so good. Yep, it's only 10.99, and next thing you know, you're walking out with 4 loaves of sourdough like me,
And
right?
and some top of funnel stuff worked on you because the top of funnel stuff is what got you into the store in the first place.
100%. Want a free
So
sample,
right.
you know? So, and
Costco
then you
uses sorry, go ahead.
go ahead. No.
It just follows up the food theme because it's lunchtime, I guess.
Mm,
Costco will use a chicken as a loss leader, which means they will sell you people will come in for that rotisserie chicken for dinner, and they have to walk all the way back to the store. They have to pass all the aisles of all the other stuff that they could be having along with that chicken, and those sausages that you can't get anywhere else, and all that other
yeah,
stuff that you can't find anywhere else. And
yeah.
they're thinking about offering that chicken for like 4.99, and Sam's Club is like 4.99, and then get the hot dog for a buck 50.
Sam's Club got me today. I was
Yeah,
there.
that's
I
how it
went with one
does.
of my daughters. $2.50 a piece for a big old slice of pizza and a soda. I spent $5.36 for me and her to eat lunch.
And
You tell me that's not a loss leader, you know?
that's the game. And so they're willing to give that stuff and take a haircut on it because they lose millions on that stuff. But they're hoping that by dragging you through every end of that store, you're going to walk out with a cart full of stuff that you never intended on buying in the first place. Now they
Yeah.
got you engaged. That is the engagement step. That's how the engagement step
Yes.
actually converts and turns into other things.
So in our example for what we're doing, the engagement part, like I said, is to offer the Foundry for free. The community is free. Now we've captured the leads here, meaning once you're in the Foundry, you become a member. Now we have that list, right?
Mhm,
So this says landing pages, pop ups, forms people can fill out. That's you joining the Foundry. Then we nurture people. Like this says nurture with email. You can do welcome series and drip campaigns and all those fancy things, or like you could do what we do, which is we go live every week.
mhm.
That's how we nurture our list, nurture our community, right? And that's also how we're building trust and building authority, and then we segment and personalize by asking questions on a weekly basis. And we see people that are in the Foundry, we see them in person, and they ask questions, and that's the personalization. They feel like they know, like, and trust Brian and I, right?
Yep.
And that's kind of where our engage step kicks off.
And understand, so all of this stuff, the visuals that you see, we'll be downloading and then dropping it into school so you can see what we're working with too. So you can kind of get the sense of what this looks like it's yourself. Convert, I kind of teased what convert is.
Hmm.
So this is where we present a clear and irresistible offer. And this is where I struggle the most as a marketer because I start thinking about all the other things, all the bells and whistles, all the different toppings we can put on the pizza as opposed to they just wanted a cheese pizza. Well, how many different types of cheese do we need to put on this? And, all these other things, if I need to change the sauce and all this other stuff, all these things that don't really matter and don't align with the conversion piece of it. But this is presenting the clear, irresistible offer. And so, Josh, if you got any questions, man, jump in too, because that's what we're here for. But yeah, the clear, irresistible offer, and so you want to make your offer simple, specific, and focused on what your transformation is. We talk about that transformation. The if you look at transformation, like the ones that are the most powerful on Facebook, to the point where they're actually banned, where you actually see ads get banned, is before and after transformation. Like specifically, if it's somebody losing weight, oh
Hmm.
man, Facebook will hammer you for those because that is such a powerful visual converting piece that gets people to actually, oh, wow, I get a chance to pair with this offer. I can go from looking like that to that. Sign me up tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay. And so it's highlighting the key benefits. You're focusing on outcomes. We want to keep it simple and you want to create urgency. Let them know that this deal, if you're really if you really have limited space and say it.
Mhm.
If you're only going to serve a limited number of people, say that you're going to serve a limited number of people, but create the urgency.
Yeah. And I know there's, some of you out there that have businesses where you have, you try to fill up your schedule ahead of time, be it whatever it is, if it's, HVAC service, carpet cleaning. We have somebody in the community that does like a ride share thing for aging people.
Mhm. You want to show them how this can improve their life or how this can change what their day-to-day routine is like. How can it make it better? How can it make it easier? How it can allow
Yes.
them to breathe easier? That's kind of that
Yes.
transformational piece. All right.
Yes.
Remove risk and objections. Now, this is the hardest part for a lot of people because that those
Hmm.
objections, if you don't really believe in what you're doing, it's hard to navigate around the objections because you feel like, wait, that's a great point. And then it shuts everything down. But
Right.
a lot of times I find that, and especially this is a Dan Kennedy thing, is the damning self-admission where you admit that this product may have a flaw. It could be a flaw that you see in it, but you point it out, or you point out how it's not for everybody. Some people this will not work for, and these are this kind of person you need to be in order to take maximum benefit of said thing. But you want to address concerns and reduce the perceived risk. That's why you see a lot of those money back guarantees. If this doesn't meet all your dreams and wishes, we have an unconditional 30-day money back guarantee, which removes the hesitation of somebody because the idea is your product is good enough where it is going to address their concerns.
Hmm.
But that's why people do it is a risk reduction kind of thing, so they feel comfortable doing it. Testimonials, those are the things that will short circuit like that's a shortcut to trust because if they see people like them enjoying your product, or even sometimes it may be people that they actually know in the real world. If
Hmm.
they trust you, I can trust you. If they trust you with their kids, I can trust you with my kids. Is kind of that take on it.
That's why reviews are so for brick and mortars and whatnot. That's why reviews are so important these days because people that's the first thing people do. I mean,
Yeah.
how many times have you had a conversation where someone's like, "I wonder what this place, that place is," and blah blah blah. Someone in your group of friends there clicks on their phone and boom, they're like, "Well, it's got 4.8 out of 96 reviews," and immediately everybody in the group there goes, "Okay." Like you just cleared and removed risk and some objections based on that alone, that
Well,
quick.
and it happens like that because the other side is, and I know I've talked to business owners. Sometimes you'll get a troll. Sometimes you might even get a review from a rival competitor who's
Mhm.
pretending to be a regular person, and they feel like they could review bomb you. Um, the challenge with reviews is understanding that people know what's happening. Like I can read a review and see they got 4 stars across the board, and then they got one weird, hateful review. We understand what it is. The best way to
Mhm.
engage them is, well, I'm disappointed that you didn't enjoy your service or product. Give us a call and let's see what we can do to help fix that for you. Now you're putting it back on them. And
Right.
then the people in your audience, they're even more relieved because they say, "Oh, they're responsive to critical reviews. They're not defensive." And so, even if I don't have a great experience, they'll be willing to work with me to improve that experience. So that's just something I've learned throughout the years from the messaging side of things when we're responding to reviews. Build confidence with proof. Show real
Like,
results. Go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say that it's kind of redundant, this one,
Mhm,
or I kind of jumped the gun on it a little bit because this is where you have the customer reviews and case studies and ratings,
mhm.
before and after results. And these two combined, 2 and 3 here, remove risk and objections and build confidence with proof, really go hand in hand, to show what you're really about before they make the jump with you.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Make it easy to buy. Confused customers do not buy. I am dealing with the website right now. Before we came on, that's what I was working on, is simplifying an offer on one of my websites because the interface, and so I had to use a third party option because the interface on the website, it was so bad that I'm like, "Okay," even the templates, 'cause I made the mistake of building through a template website. I know. But the interface to the sales, is not really direct, and it's kind of a labyrinth, and I feel and looking at our conversion numbers and everything else is bad, and so I'm like, "I'm
Yeah.
making the change today." And so
Yeah, this is where I and Brian knows this already, but this is where I shine.
mhm,
And not to pat myself on the back, it's just what I get real nerdy about, is the make it easy to buy part. And that is, to me, I call it removing as much of the friction to buy as possible. Make it easy. How easy is it to get on your phone, mobile order something from Amazon? They are the masters of removing friction. They are the easiest thing to buy from,
uh-huh,
easiest platform to buy anything from on the planet. Fight me on it because I don't know if you'll find something else. Because
uh,
and to make things smooth and frictionless is that less steps, but it's also the psychological part. I don't know if it says in here, it doesn't, but to make it simple and to make it feel simple is two different things. Making it like technologically simple is one thing. It's an art to make it psychologically simple to buy.
yep,
And that goes with, having different payment options. That's a big one. If it's something that requires that. If it's a low ticket item, and it's, I'd say under $100, you shouldn't have to offer multiple payment types,
mhm,
or options, but having multiple ways to pay that thing like Apple Pay, Google Pay, Venmo, credit card, those having those is another way to remove friction. Because
yep,
it's like someone's like, "Oh, I don't want to type my credit card in or whatever." I hate that. And I will use someone else if they have Apple Pay because my Apple Wallet has has my credit card in it,
mhm,
and I can just hit Apple Pay and pay real quick. Um, Things like that. It's a big deal in the conversion process.
it
This
is.
this step, make it easy to buy.
Well, and go to a degree, Amazon sacrifices having a website that is aesthetically good looking to simplify the way to pay because people
100%.
talk, web designers talk a lot, and Amazon's a pretty ugly website. Like it's not an attractive website to look at, but they've mastered it so that people have just assumed that it's okay, and there's like this is their standard and baseline, but they make it really easy to go in and buy what you need and add upsells and add things to your cart and things along those lines. And now they've even said, and if you add this to your cart, you can get it the same day. We'll throw it in the box with it and
That's right.
stuff like that. And so that's kind of what we're talking about is making it super, super, super easy to make that purchase decision. You want to make it stupidly easy. And I know some of you like my clients are smart, they're brilliant people. I said this in a webinar or a presentation last week. The smartest people that you know, more times than not, when they're looking at your offer or your ad or anything, any copy, any marketing copy or words that sell, they're comprehending at like a fourth or fifth grade reading level. It doesn't matter how smart they are. If they're reading your stuff, you have to dial it back all the way
Yeah.
and make it
That's the
dead
part of their
simple.
brain that's getting tickled is that level. They're not thinking of it at a high, like, I'm an engineer, I'm gonna look at it this way. No, they're at
Mhm.
that 4th, 5th grade. And then creating that urgency is a big deal too. And Amazon, to go back to that example, Amazon does that by what Brian just said. So, you can get it tomorrow.
Mhm.
That's a way to make you click. Like, shit, I don't got even gotta wait,
Right.
and it's got a timer on it. If you order in the next, 3 hours and 47 minutes, and it's clicking down, that's their way of creating urgency and motivating you to do a sale. Works for Amazon. I don't know that it would work for
I
a
I
a lot of us out there, but
I know one person that I work for, Matt, if you're watching or if you see this, you could if you got a favor if you got ice cream that sells out all the time, that's your urgency call. This is a crowd favorite. We're gonna be out. Like we're not this is not gonna last throughout the day. You need to get down here now if this is what you want. That is an urgency call and it's a real one. You're gonna run out. If we're gonna run out of this stuff if you don't get down here. And if you don't get this flavor, you're gonna miss out.
yeah,
There's a food truck that uses the same thing, all was it On the Hook? They travel all over the Midwest, fish and
I've
chips
I've
truck.
been there. Yep.
and they use that artificial scarcity because there's about a bajillion of those trucks, but they use artificial scarcity by saying, "We're gonna be in this parking lot on this day, and we'll be there until we run out." And they raise prices almost every time I go, and they make money hand over fist, but it's the
Yeah.
artificial scarcity. We talked about the create urgency, and that all falls into it. Limited time offer, bonuses, upsells, upgrades, and things along those lines. When somebody makes that purchase decision, they're already in a mode to purchase, and so that's where you start seeing more of those upsells to enhance the offer and make it even better. And so that's what the concept is. Um,
So going before we go to the next one, this
yeah,
right here, attract, engage, and convert.
uh-huh,
Once you reach this step, we get to the what I usually tell clients is the more fun part, right? This is you've done the hard work. Now
mhm,
we get to provide and delight people. These are now they've already now they're a customer.
mhm,
Now they've paid you. Now you can do this step, which is always, always, always deliver an amazing experience.
right,
You over deliver, you under promise, right?
mhm,
Provide outstanding customer service. If you have a brick and mortar, I talk about brick and mortars a lot because a lot of our members right now are brick and mortar, but so I'm kind of in that brain space. When you walk into someone's establishment, it should be the best customer experience you can give them. That
mhm,
you notice someplace, and I know it's kind of cringe sometimes, but like you walk in to, I don't know where it is. It used to be a place called Moe's, but like other places do it when you walk in and they're like, "Hey, welcome."
yeah,
The whole damn place says hello, and it feels weird for a second, but you're like, okay, that's the start of a customer experience. If I go to an Apple store, I know there's Apple haters out there. I get that. But when you walk in, that place is to the T, makes more money per square foot than any business on the planet. And it's because their customer experience is fantastic. I've never waited more than five, and I'm being gracious here, more than 5 minutes
mhm,
before someone was helping me. That's just you do that. You have to deliver an amazing experience from top to bottom. And I'm not even saying that's just people walking in and out of brick and mortars.
mhm,
Now you've converted them. Now what? Now you got to provide, support, follow up with them, help them out along their journey, whatever their journey is with you, if it's ice cream, make sure it's easy to order, make sure they can, after they're done, there's seating that they can sit at or whatever. And after they're done, they can easily throw their dishes away,
right, right.
you know, trash can placement is part of the customer experience is what I'm saying. Go ahead.
The thing you have to go out of your way to provide, especially if it's a food item or sometimes even a product, it can be a service too.
Mhm.
They have to have a similar if the first experience is amazing, the second experience has to be amazing. They have to have a consistent experience every single time. The example we use all the time, go to McDonald's, you know what you're getting, you know what the food's gonna taste like. It may not be the best you've ever had, but you at least you get a chance to look forward to the fries, and know that the Coke is gonna have that Coca-Cola is gonna have that little McDonald's Coca-Cola taste to it. If you go in one day to McDonald's and it tastes like Wendy's, you're gonna have a problem, even though you may like Wendy's. You may like Wendy's better. If McDonald's tastes like Wendy's, you have some there's a little bit of where it's not congruent with what the expectations are. So part of the delighting is making sure that there is a consistent experience each time. This is actually a staff development thing, especially if you're managing staff that are customer facing. If you have one staff that doesn't greet customers when they come in the door, even though they may be only on one shift on one day, you will hear about them more than anybody else. And those will be the ones that will bleed you from clients because everybody else says hi, what's their problem? And that's what we're talking about. So the part of the delight is making sure that the customer experience is similar. That is the people that when they come and clean your room, they leave little Andy's mint on your pillow. That's a consistent experience.
What happened to that? You used to get 'em with your bills,
Uh,
inside your receipt thing
yeah,
at a restaurant. They don't do that no more.
Hertz
I don't know why.
Donuts, Hertz Donuts, Hertz Donut, that's what it is. They actually have, we were there this Saturday, and I almost ordered it. They have an Andy's donut.
Yeah, I'm here for that.
They have an Andy's chocolate donut. I almost grabbed it. I opted for the Oreo one, but yeah. What I'm saying is this: that level will always get people to continue to re-engage with you. Did we so deliver the amazing experience, stay in touch and add value. This is what your email list does. This is also the social media list. This is the thank you post. This is responding to people that hype you up. This is offers to former clients or people that may have lapsed to get them re-engaged. That's really what it is. And support and encourage feedback. It doesn't always mean. It doesn't always mean. Oh, well, thanks. I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'll show it on the
Yeah.
screen. It doesn't always mean like you have to give them a gift card or whatever every time they leave a review or whatnot. Sometimes saying thank you is enough. And knowing that you're thanking them for taking the time to have that conversation with you.
Yeah. And some of the more advanced things, like when you get into the drive repeat business, is things like loyalty programs and stuff like that. Those are more advanced because sometimes you have to have tools to do that. But it can be as simple as a punch card and stuff like that. I know people do that at coffee shops and stuff. One
Mhm.
of the best loyalty programs out there, that make it easy to collect and to go back and purchase something at Starbucks. Hate them or love them, that I'm a tech nerd and
Mm.
I'm a customer journey experience nerd. So when I see those things, they are highlighted in my brain. So
Yep.
if you've ever used their mobile order platform and how they do a loyalty program, with giving you stars to buy stuff, and it's fantastic.
I can't tell you how much McDonald's got Trojan horsed into this house, because my wife had free fries. App gave me free
100%.
fries. Figured I'd
Yeah.
just grab some fries for everybody. Like, you wanted fries,
Since you're
didn't you?
there.
And
Yeah.
so that's what we're talking about. And loyalty programs aren't terribly hard to set up depending on what your point of sales
Right.
service or point of sale solution is. Having a loyalty program, even if it's just punch cards, will help the repeat and drive that repeat customer. And this is the piece. Okay, we have to express this, and then we got to move on to the next thing. Referrals, referrals, referrals. Ask for referrals. If people are happy with the service, if you were pleased with your service, if you like the food, please refer us.
Yeah.
Tell
Tell a
people
friend.
about us.
Yeah.
Bring a friend next time. If you bring a friend in, we'll hook you up. Like, things along those lines. Those are things that people remember. And it doesn't have to be a
Hmm.
every single time thing. But now, instead of one repeat customer, you have one repeat customer and one potential repeat customer coming in next time.
And then we have the final step, which is repeat and grow.
Hmm.
So this is the stuff that kind of, you're redoing some of the stuff you've done in the other steps, obviously, but you want to really just put this into some sort of systematic approach and how you approach this to your business. That's what this. I'm not going to go over this whole slide here, but
Hmm.
encourage repeat business, like Brian just said, with loyalty programs. Get referrals naturally. Ask if tell a friend, bring them in. Collect reviews. We said that. That gives you social proof for you to put out there at the top of your funnel, right? You collect a review or take a picture with somebody, you post it on Facebook and say, this family came in today. They had their family reunion. They had 18 people came in to eat ice cream or whatever,
Hmm.
and that's good social proof, right?
Right.
Now you've used your social proof that you developed on your delight phase to put at the top of your funnel to get more people in. You see how
Right.
this works? See how it starts happening, and it's like a snake eating its own tail,
Yep.
but in a good way. Nurture people, stay top of mind. I just had a conversation today with somebody that they fill up their business, they fill up their schedule, but the idea is they can't rest on their laurels and not do any marketing because they can't grow anymore. They're physically tapped at that point, right?
Hmm.
But they have to stay top of mind. They can't just not do anything and then fizzle out and then people forget them, right? So nurture, stay top of mind with people. And then this is the most important part of this step, the fifth step after people travel down the thing, is analyze and improve and then scale if that's a goal for you. Google data, Google Analytics, stuff like that for your website. If you do online, if you do ecom, you'll have lots of stats. Your
Right.
POS systems and your brick and mortars. Please look at that data. Stay on top of that stuff because you can notice things
Right.
and you can figure things out that can help you grow and scale and improve things in your business.
Well, this is the thing I'll throw on the top of minds. Like, do you think that Budweiser or Walmart chose you a commercial because you didn't know that what Walmart or Budweiser didn't exist. These are
Right.
top of mind things. The Walmart commercial flashed across your screen to remind you if you're a person who shops at Walmart, hey, next time I'm at Walmart, I need to pick this up. Oh, we're out of this. I need to hit up Walmart tomorrow. That's what it is. It's kind of putting it in your ear that this place still exists because they're hoping to jar loose a reason for you to go give them money for something. That's really what that is. And the other side with the nurture and grow, this is also where you test out things. If it works, great. You keep doing it. If it doesn't work, iterate it, try it again, and then figure out if this is worth your time. So,
100%.
all right, on to the next. So, with our funnel,
Yes.
we wanted to keep our funnel really, really flat. What that means is there's not a heck of a whole lot of layers that you have to go through to get the product. If you're in the community, it's go to the classroom, it's there, $17 for our hosting, and you have access to the client clarity tool where it will whittle down. It will absolutely whittle down and kind of ask you all the exploratory questions to identify who your ideal client is, and then provide you the tools that you need and some of the verbiage and some of the thoughts that you need to engage them.
Okay. So our funnels, like Brian said, we kind of walked you through a little bit of what our funnel is, and there's not much to demo here in front of you other than to kind of show you the steps of where our entry points and stuff is, right? So
Right.
that's what I think we'll break down here. So we go and we do a live workshop, right?
Hmm.
And that's the, like we said, that's top of funnel. That's the attraction part of our funnel. Then we simply show a QR code or provide a link that they can visit right there on the spot, right?
Right.
And it takes them here. They can join this right here. Oh, I can't. This is their entry point, which is the school community. You simply go down. I can't view it as a, see if it lets me view it differently. There we go.
Yep.
So now I'm viewing it as a member or non-member. So you can see it tells us a little bit about it. This is our quote unquote sales copy. And then you can just simply join the group from here.
Yep.
And then
We're
once you join it,
Yeah, it's
go
gonna
ahead.
ask you some questions. You're gonna get some questions to make sure that we're right for you and things along those lines. You get in the group and then click on community, jump in the community, ask questions, say, "Hey, let us know what your business type is," and things along those lines. But for us, it will be go to classroom and boom, it's right there.
And you can see that we have like a start here. And then we have some uh, free products here that let you get in and start learning some stuff right away. And then this is the customer clarity system that we walked through on the last live stream
Mhm.
that you can pay for, or you can upgrade your membership on the school community to the premium or VIP tiers.
Right.
Um,
And
then we have like, go ahead.
I know that we're big, you guys have heard me talk about prices, positioning, and you're like, "Why is this only $17?" Well, $17 is we wanted to get this to you, but we need to cover hosting. And
Mhm.
so, um, this is really what that is. This is a tremendous value add. People, last week described it as feel like they were stealing, like, felt like you're shoplifting. That's how good the tool was, and so that's what we have in there. But that explains the price point too.
Right. So, and sorry that this isn't more extravagant, but the idea here is that people come here, and this is all of our funnel, right? Because they come here, they join this, they're engaging. This is where we provide. I go back to that step here. We offer the value up front here with the different free courses. We're
Mhm.
trying to remove objections by at risk and objections by offering the community that allows you to ask questions, and we build the confidence with you back and forth so we become someone you know, like, and trust, right?
Right.
And then we try to make it everything organized in the classroom so it's easy to buy. And then we don't really have to create urgency with this. Our job is to motivate you to level up. So Brian and I have discussed this many times of how we're going to do this, and it's like we want people to learn the base foundational stuff of marketing and then slowly advance, right? And the
Right.
ultimate end goal, which we've said to everybody before, is that if you need expert help from Brian or I, that is the ultimate, payoff for both you and us. Does that make sense? Brian, you want to hit a little bit on that?
That makes sense, because we really like, this is why when we say, "If you got questions, ask them." We don't hold anything back. We're confident in what we're offering, and we're confident that if we offer it frequently enough, you guys, people are going to want to have more one-on-one, more direct conversations, and bring us in on more intricate marketing things. And so that's what the value proposition that we're offering is. Did that hit it? Is that kind of what we're
Yeah.
looking for? All right.
Yeah, and then so like I was saying, our funnel is pretty flat because we do a lot in the school community. So
Yep.
even after we convert you and get you in here, we're doing trying to deliver the experience and stay in touch and encourage feedback. We're trying to do all that stuff in here to keep you in here to drive business to the community, to grow it, which is another one of our ultimate goals, and to have you use the products and refer us and talk to your friends and et
Right.
cetera, all those things we talked about.
Right.
Ours is a pretty simple funnel. We did that on purpose. So, because Brian and I are ADHD people,
Yes.
and we rather just get on video and talk and tell people to come join us. And that's really where we engage the most with people is presenting to them.
We could get lost in optimizing and making things as amazing as possible, but the biggest problem is we optimize, 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 but if we never present it to anybody, then it just sits still. And so we want to make the funnel as flat as possible to shorten that chain so that you can get in there and order that thing and get started. And that's really what it is.
And I'll stop sharing here so you can see our big heads here.
Yep.
The one thing about the funnel that kind of offshoots for us that I'm not really going to get into today because it gets a little more complex and it really falls into that category of our next live stream when we get kind of a deep dive in email.
Hmm.
So for those that don't join the Foundry, so that we showed you the list as if people joined it, right?
Right.
For those that don't, that's where you re-engage. That's that analyzation part of repeat and grow, where we have a list of people that have not joined yet, and we send them an email
Yep.
and send them an offer to, hey, come to the Foundry, it's free, and we drip campaign to them a little bit. We'll get into that in the next live stream because that it gets too advanced for what we're doing here today.
Yeah. And
But go ahead.
once we get like when we start getting into the higher level stuff, this is where Brian and I have to make the decision like, okay, people can survive and thrive off the simple version of this,
Hmm.
right? If they want the more advanced stuff, this is where we have the conversation like, okay, this is probably something that we're going to probably charge a little bit more for because there's going to be a little bit more hand holding, there's going to be a little bit more support, more direct support on that front. And so this is how we make the decision like can they solve their basic problem with this information? Great. Okay. If they're going to need more, probably more
Yeah.
support, or it can get kind of complex,
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with that complex because sometimes you need a little bit more of a sophisticated way. That's where we start
Yeah.
making the decisions on what courses are going to be free, what courses aren't going to be free, and things along those lines. I'm actually
Yeah.
posting the link to the Foundry here in the chat, which I should have done before so that everybody can see it. If you're interested in joining, please, please, please hop in. We're waiting for you.
Yeah.
Let me
I don't have
close.
much else
Yep.
today other than that. I do want to say that this live stream right here, I may take this and put this as a simple course that people can see and rewatch over and over again in the Foundry because we want to lay these foundational stuff for you that so you can understand what a funnel is and how it works because there are more advanced things like Brian was talking about like you can get into ad retargeting where someone sees one of your ads but then
Mhm.
they don't do anything, but then, or they come to your website and they don't do anything, but then you can hit them with an ad. You can hit that specific person with an ad, right?
Yep.
Like I said, it gets nerdy, it gets advanced. That's when marketing for Brian and I, because it gets so nerdy, that's where you need the experts. That's where it gets fun for us
Right.
is getting in the trenches and doing the dirty work for our clients. I don't know why I'm going off on a rant like that. I'm just saying we want to provide you with foundational information for free. And then if you need that extra, if you're ready for that next step, we have that available as well.
Yep. And that's really what this is about, guys. We're trying to add as much value as possible while also giving you actionable stuff. And so, sometimes the next course of action is to reach out to us to sit down and book us out for a one-on-one. And
Yeah.
that's fine too. So I like the idea. Let's go ahead and we'll get this one up. We'll download this one and absolutely have it ready to as a class, and probably you'll even see some of this on the internet, like because I
Yeah.
feel like this is one is good enough.
Yeah, we'll be putting this out everywhere. I usually repost it to the 531 Labs website. We'll put it on the Foundry
Mhm.
Facebook, which as soon as Facebook takes our chains off,
Yep.
I don't know. I don't know why we have training wheels and why I can't do certain things, but I've never liked that platform on the business side. I like
Right.
it for I like it for, putting content out there, but business side is garbage. But yeah, I think what I'll do with this one, I'll take the live stream for everybody in the Foundry, and I'll kind of take the transcript and turn it into a kind of a mini course that will follow this live stream.
That works for me.
Yeah,
Okay, at this point, guys, we will catch you guys next week. Thanks for tuning in. Join the
thank you.
Foundry if you're seeing it.
Join the Foundry.
You'll see the link. We'll talk to you guys later. Peace. Have a great week.